One late spring afternoon near the edge of Redstone Creek in northern Montana, a young elk calf lost its way. The forest was quiet. The calf, barely a few weeks old, stumbled through the underbrush, its legs trembling. Its wide eyes searched for its mother, but the only sounds were wind in the trees and the soft rush of water. A small, desperate bleat escaped its throat. Drawn by instinct or confusion, it stepped closer to the water where the current flowed fast and strong. The muddy edge crumbled under its hooves, and in a blink, the calf slipped into the creek. The cold current hit like a shock. Water swirled around it, pulling it under and spinning it in circles. The calf kicked frantically, trying to stay afloat. It gasped, choked, eyes wide with panic. Its small body was no match for the strength of the stream. It called out again, weak, fading. But no one answered. The water was fast, ruthless. Then, farther up the bank, a Jeep Wrangler rolled along the dirt road. Behind the wheel was Harold Finch, a retired park ranger. Beside him sat Jasper, his old golden retriever. Harold slowed the Jeep, frowning. He'd heard something, a cry, carried by the wind. Jasper lifted his head, ears twitching. Then, without warning, the dog jumped from the car and bolted toward the creek. Jasper! Harold called, then quickly followed. He reached the edge of the bank just in time to see a small form struggling in the water. "Oh no," Harold breathed. "It's a calf." Jasper was already in the creek, swimming hard. Despite his age, he cut through the current with purpose, heading straight for the drifting calf. The calf barely noticed him, until Jasper bit gently into its scruff and started towing it toward shore. The calf flinched at first, expecting pain, but felt only warmth, steadiness. Harold stepped into the shallows and reached out. "That's it, boy. Bring her in." Jasper reached the bank, and Harold lifted the trembling calf from the water, laying it gently on the grass. He wrapped it in his flannel shirt, pressing a hand to its chest. The heartbeat was fast but strong. "You're okay now," Harold whispered. He looked at Jasper, soaked and panting beside him. "Let's take her home." Harold carefully placed the calf in the back of the Jeep, laying it on an old wool blanket he always kept there, just in case. Jasper climbed in next to it, sitting close without touching, as if to say, "I'm here. You're safe." They drove slowly through the winding hills back to Harold's cabin, a weathered log home surrounded by tall grass and pine trees, about 10 miles from the nearest paved road. The setting sun cast long shadows across the clearing as they arrived. Inside, the cabin was quiet, warm. A wood-burning stove ticked softly in the corner. Harold laid the calf near the hearth on a thick rug and gently rubbed it dry with towels. Jasper stayed close, eyes alert, tail thumping the floor from time to time. The calf was still weak but breathing steadily now. Harold poured warm milk into a bottle and, after some coaxing, the calf drank. It blinked slowly, beginning to relax. Harold looked down at the small creature, so fragile, yet still alive. "I think you've earned a name," he murmured. "How about Ember? For that spark still burning in you." The next morning, Ember stood up, wobbly but determined, and followed Jasper around the yard. Jasper walked with slow patience, letting the calf mimic his movements, smelling the air, nudging clumps of earth, listening to the soft calls of birds in the distance. Day by day, Ember grew stronger. They became a trio, Harold, Jasper, and Ember, an unlikely family stitched together by fate and water. Harold would often sit on the porch, coffee in hand, watching Jasper lead Ember through the tall grass, pausing when she got tired or distracted by butterflies. Ember started to nuzzle Harold's leg in the mornings, waiting for her bottle. At night, she curled up on the rug, her breathing calm, no longer haunted by cold or fear. But Harold knew, deep down, that this could not last forever. Ember was wild. She belonged out there, among the pines and rivers. And somewhere, her mother might still be searching, aching for her lost calf. After 2 weeks, Harold packed the jeep again, just like the day they brought her home. Jasper sat in the front. Ember lay in the back, bigger now, her ears twitching, alert to every sound. They returned to Redstone Creek. This time, they drove farther upstream, closer to the area where elk herds had recently been seen. The morning was cool, and mist hovered above the water like a dream. Harold parked the jeep and stepped out. He opened the back, and Ember hesitated, her eyes moving from Harold to the forest beyond. She took a step forward. Then, something moved in the trees. A large female elk emerged silently from the shadows, her breath visible in the cool air. She stood tall, ears perked, eyes locked on Ember. Ember froze. Then she bolted forward. The two met halfway, Ember's small body pressed against the older elk's side. The mother sniffed and licked her calf gently, her legs trembling ever so slightly. They stood like that for a long time, not moving. Harold felt his throat tighten. Jasper sat still beside him, watching with quiet understanding. Then Ember turned. She looked back, at Harold, at Jasper. Her eyes, deep and steady, held something human in that moment. A flicker of gratitude. Of goodbye. Harold raised a hand. "Go on," he whispered. "Be wild. Be free." Ember turned again and followed her mother into the woods, their silhouettes fading between the trees, silent as the wind. Harold and Jasper stood there for a long while, listening to the forest breathe. The creek rolled on, gentle now, as if remembering what had happened there. Finally, Harold sighed and looked down at Jasper. "Well, buddy, we did good." Jasper barked once, softly. They walked back to the jeep together, the morning sun breaking through the clouds. Behind them, the forest closed. Ahead of them, peace. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe to support the channel. See you in the next episodes.